FX, what's poppin'? So, just put out the Telegram video, and now I want to do a video on the risk rewards. So, I have been, since I've been calling out negative risk rewards, I have been tracking every trade that I've called out between 7 different risk rewards, okay? 4 negatives, 20 to 1, 10 to 1, 5 to 1, and 2 to 1, and 3 positives, a 1 to 1, 1 to 2, and a 1 to 3. I just went back and did this one. And what stop profit means is whenever price went halfway to take profit with a 1 to 1, I would move my stop loss to break even. That's all that is. So that's the only difference. Okay, no closing out anything early, just moving the stop loss when price goes halfway to target. That's it. So I did that for the past almost 6 months. Now I have also gone back from all of the trades that I've called out in 2023. If this would work and load all of the trade. Oh, it's right here. All of the trades that I've called out in 2023, okay, and all the trades that I called out in 2024. I have been doing that. Okay, now I have the results from every single risk reward. The first ranking, the first winner is a 1 to 1. You would have made 290%, 77% win rate, which is insane. I didn't do anything wrong, for sure. When I back tested it, I went back multiple times and checked between all these different risk rewards. I didn't do anything wrong. I don't know how it's that high, but it's that high. I'm not a god. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but it is really high. But you would have had 290%, no closeouts, no nothing. You would have had 220% with the stop profits, 70% 1 to 2s, 190% 1 to 3s, 5 to 1s, 10 to 1s, and 20 to 1s. Okay. The winner would have been a 1 to 1. This is the rankings: 20 to 1 the worst, 1 to 1 the best. Now for the first 6 months of this year, this is the rankings. Okay, a 1 to 1 would have been negative 5%. A 1 to 1 with the stop profit would have been 60%. 2 to 1, 30, 35. Is it 2 to 1? Oh, 2 to 1. I forgot the 2 to 1 up here. 152%. So 35%, 17, 9.5, 20 to 1 actually beat the 10 to 1 in this case because it had no losses. This had 2. And the rankings are here. 2 to 1 was second, 1 to 1 stop profit was first. And that's just because a lot of the losses turn into break evens when it comes. I mean, you can see this had 21 losses. You know, we cut it in the third by having these break evens. So that's that. Now, the last 5 months since I stopped yesterday, 105. We literally took a loss on. If I go, let me go show you. Everything was flawless with a 20 to 1 until yesterday or the day before when we took a buy on EU and it just flew past. It just completely dropped off the planet. There was 0 rejection from this level. If we go all the way back, let's see if we can go back with the 1 minute. There was nothing. There was no rejections. There was even a 100 to 1 would have lost because there was just no rejections at all. And it was just crazy. So right here, let's get up in that shit. You can see there's nothing. Price just literally just flew straight past, never came back. So yeah, the first loss with the 20 to 1 happened this week, which is hilarious. So 10 to 1s was 103 and 3, 36.5%. This is 93 and 13. You know, the win rates, the percentage gains, everything. The winner on this one was, again, the 1 to 1 was stop profit, 1 to 1 was second, 10 to 1, 5 to 1, 20 to 1, 2 to 1, 1 to 2, 1 to 3. Now, what I've noticed is that there is patterns with these risk rewards. This is not a crazy amount of data. I mean, this is the overall results. 253 trades. The winner is this. These are the rankings right here. 2 to 1 is third. What I've noticed with these risk rewards is there's patterns with these things. The 20 to 1 never fucking loses. That's the thing that I've noticed with that. It never fucking loses. It had the first loss in 253 trades this week. It never loses, okay? I've also gone back and back tested. I did that video. The shit just doesn't lose, right? The 10 to 1 and the 5-1 tend to go back and forth with each other a lot of times because this doesn't lose as much as this loses, but when this is on, it surpasses it. You can see it made more. But there's been plenty of times where the 10-1 has been above a 5-1 because it has multiple losses in the same space in a relative time frame. The 2-1 and the 1-1 are pretty. They fluctuate a lot. There's been multiple weeks where this has been negative, has had 0 wins, just like this has. Obviously, it doesn't fluctuate as much as a 1-1. But then whenever the 1-1 and the 2-1 are on, they fucking smoke all of these. They smoke every other one. The 1-2 and 1-3 tend to be those ones where it's really back and forth. Like, since I've been tracking it, of course, it ended up in profit, which is great. But, dude, there was so many weeks where it just was in a horrible drawdown, just over and over. And then it would have 2 or 3 wins and then bring it all the way back up to break even. And then it would just go on another losing streak. It just seemed awful to trade. That's these two. That's what they were. And I can imagine you go higher, 1-5s, 1-7s, 1-10s. It's going to be the same shit, but worse. But those are the patterns that I've noticed with these. This never loses. These two always compete. These two are usually competing roughly around the same spot. They're always kind of inconsistent. These ones are extremely inconsistent, not reliable at fucking all. And then the 1-1 with the stop profits with the break evens was 5% more than this. I think I've been experimenting with stop profits. I like the idea because it does eliminate a lot of losses. I mean, it did take away a lot of wins. You can see this had 161 wins. This had 128, so it took away, 33 wins. But this also did eliminate 44 losses with the break evens. So, it's kind of a give or take. You'll definitely have a higher win rate with that. You won't have as many losses. It might be easier psychologically. You could do the same thing with 10-1s, 5-1s, 2-1s, 20-1, maybe not 20-1s, but you could do the same thing with those in a way. If price goes a certain amount of percentage of profit, move the stop loss to break even, I think it does help. But these ones, it might be a little bit harder because you are aiming for such a little amount of pips for price to go that it doesn't really make sense if you're going for 5 pips and you move it when it goes 2 pips in a profit, you'll just get a lot of fucking break evens. So maybe not. But those are the patterns I've noticed with these things. This is the rankings overall, and it seems to be a trend where the 1-1 stop profit and the 1-1 are on top. The 2-1's always trailing behind. I have changed my perspective a little bit on what risk rewards I want to take. I think 2-1s I'm leaning more towards. Now, I know 1-1s did win, but I 100% can see a time frame of 6 months, just like the last one, just like this one up here, where a 1-1 was -5% and this was 35%. The first 6 months of 2025 could easily pan out to be something similar like that. I love the win rate that a 2-1 can maintain, which is a 75 to 80% win rate. I love that. I like all of these because they win so much, right? They just win. 92% solid, 98, 99.6. I mean, imagine winning every single trade. The problem that I started to face, and now that I've noticed with myself since I went back to testing 2-1s and 1-1s on my own personal stuff, not calling it out in Telegram, what I've noticed is that when I trade these, the psychology that I have feels worse. Even though I win a lot of trades, there's always that thing in the back of my mind where if I lose a trade, I'm going to wipe out 10 winners or 20 winners. And I'm going to have to be on par to fucking get back to where I just was. And there's been a few times where I've been taking 10-1s. I'll lose a trade. And within those trades, they get back to where, 11 wins to be profitable again, 10 wins to break even. I'll lose a trade again. So now I'm down maybe 15 trades instead of, the original 10. I win 5 trades in a row. Now I lose another one. Now I'm down 15, 16 trades just to get back to be profitable a little bit. And especially on a prop firm, that can be fucking exhausting. It can feel like you're in this hole that you can't crawl out of. And it's tough to deal with. What I've been doing is I've been experimenting with both of these, 2-1s, 1-1s. Like I said, I really like with this that if I'm risking 5%, I'm going for 2.5. If I lose 1, I need 2 to make it up. I like that I have a solid win rate. With this, what I like is that if I lose 1, I win 1, I'm break even. I like the simplicity of that. I also like that I'm able with these two to risk less. So With a 10 to 1, I would risk 5% of the account to go for half a percent. I can risk 2% to go for 1% on this, or 1% to go for 1% on this, right? And I'm making more than I would on a win on that. Obviously, the win rate fluctuates a lot more than it would with that. But the thing is that I'm not as worried about losing a trade because one, I'm not risking as much because the account grows faster because of how much bigger of a target it's going for. But two, I also know if I lose, I won't wipe out all these winners. So that's the things that I've noticed with my psychology is it feels a little bit better with that, which ironically happens to turn out to be some of the best of the rankings. Okay. And I started backtesting this myself after I saw these results. So it's not a psychology thing where I was, trying to get these to win or anything like that. I wasn't rigging the system. I started doing it after I saw the results. But this is the results, man. These are the results that I have. These are the results that I found. But again, I want people to understand this is all based on my strategy. This is not based on indicators. This is based purely on a strategy where price is going up. I go to the 4 hour and I look for a level of support to buy off of. Buy limits, no indicators, no candle confirmations, no nothing, right? Price is going down. I go to the 4 hour and it's so laggy. And I look for a level of resistance to sell off of, right? Okay, cool. Right here, look at this. Check this out. Okay, cool. I'm going to have my stop loss above the high, right? I'm going to target the low with a 1-to-1 or whatever. Price comes back up. That's cool. That's what I do. Okay, I target that. Or it's a 2-to-1 or it's a 10-to-1 and I do that. Whatever it is. This is the strategy that it's based off of, okay? I know other people do, of course, other strategies. People use a whole bunch of different stuff. I know there's people out there who can find consistently 1-to-3s with their strategy, or 1-to-1s better, or 10-to-1s might work for somebody better psychologically wise than me, because I don't like the fact that I win so little when I win, even though it's very profitable. I just don't enjoy the fact that I always felt scared to lose a trade. I didn't like that. I didn't like the fact that I felt scared. I didn't like the fact that it took so much more patience to grow an account, because I was, even though I was risking 5%, 4.5%, it's like, okay, well now, I'm still only making 0.5% every single trade. I have to win a whole bunch of trades to even get anywhere. But if I take 1-to-1s and I have 3 or 4 wins in a row, bro, I'm fucking crushing it, right? Even though along with that, you have to accept the fact that it's going to be more back and forth. And the thing that I've realized over time about risk rewards is this: you have to, when it comes to a risk reward, you have to do a few things. One, you have to accept. See if I can type right now. Accept what comes with it. Okay, it's so much harder to type when you talk. You have to accept what comes with the risk reward. If you're taking a 1-to-3, okay, if you're taking a 1-to-3, you have to understand that it's going to be a lot more inconsistent. You have to understand and accept that you're going to have periods of time where all you do is lose. And at the same time, you have to accept that the majority trades you take are going to be a part of a losing streak. It's just mathematically the way it's set up. If you're taking something like this and you want to target that next low, okay, that makes sense to have the trade. But now I have to hit that 1-to-3, so my stop loss is going to be right there. So not only do I have a take profit that's less likely to be hit, but I have a stop loss that's way more vulnerable. So what comes with that is more losses. You're on losing streaks constantly. But if you can find a way to consistently hit those at least 27, 28% of the time, boom, you're going to be profitable. If you can do 30, you're going to be a millionaire in a few years. Awesome. Great. You have to accept what comes with it. Now, the other side of it, of course, is like something like what we've been doing, 10-to-1s. Okay, a 10-to-1. Now, you have to accept that you're going to win, on average, probably 97 to 98% of those trades. But with that, when you do have a loss, you have to accept that you're going to wipe out 10 of those winners. Okay, and that fucking sucks. You're going to have to win 11 trades in a row to make up for what you just lost. Okay? So you have to accept that, but you also have to accept the psychological part that comes with that you might be afraid to lose. If you do lose one, you might start to freak out a little bit, because when I was taking 10-to-1s, if one loss happened, it would wipe out like 2 weeks of progress. That's fucking annoying. That shit pissed me off. I didn't like that. But that's what it was. Now, if you do something like a 1-to-1, you have to accept that if I can maintain, from what it seems from my data, a 55 to 60% win rate at least, I'm going to be profitable. But then you have to accept that you're going to have months where you're 100% accurate. You're going to have months where you're 0. You're going to have months where you're 50. You're going to have months where you're 30 and you're 60 and you're 65 and you're 32, and it's going to fluctuate. And that's what it is. But at the end of the day, if you can maintain 55% accuracy according to your data and your backtesting with your strategy, then you should be good. And you just have to accept what comes with it. And that's it. That's all risk reward is. Risk reward is just a mathematical equation saying, this is what I'm accepting. This is what I'm willing to risk to willing to gain. This is the percentage likeliness chance of everything playing out. That's all it is. That's literally everything risk reward is. So you have to, that's the main thing. You just have to accept what comes with the risk reward. Okay. And I was going to say something else, but I forgot. But when it comes to risk reward, that's what you have to do. You have to accept what comes with it. You have to accept the outcomes. You have to accept that it's just a mathematical equation that you're choosing to do. There's no perfect, that's another thing I wanted to say. There is no perfect, there's no perfect risk reward. Okay, bud. There goes psych. Okay. That's supposed to be style. Damn, dog. It's so hard to type. Okay. There is no perfect risk reward. There's one that's perfect for you. Okay. I know we see everybody on social media and the gurus talking about 1 to 2s and 1 to 3s. I don't think I will ever recommend anybody ever to go with a risk reward higher than a 1 to 1. I think once you go above that, I think it starts to get too inconsistent. I think it starts to fuck with their psychology too much. I will not recommend that to somebody, but I will recommend people to experiment with things that are 1 to 1s and under. 2 to 1s, 1 to 1s, 10 to 1s, 20 to 1s, 50 to 1s, 5 to 1s. Experiment. See which one works better for you. And the thing you have to do, I would say the most important part is match it to your psychology. If you're doing something like a 10 to 1 like me, and it's just a little bit too small, it takes a little bit too much patience, you don't like when you lose, then switch to a 5 to 1. Switch to a 2 to 1. Try that one out. Right? It has to match your psychology. The next thing it has to do has to match your strategy. It has to match your style. Okay? For me, it just so happens that the 2 to 1 and the 1 to 1, the ones that I think I will resonate the most with, happen to perform the best on my strategy. It just works. Okay? And this is 2 years of data. Aside from all the other backtesting that I've gone back and done, this is 2 years of data that have played out to match this. My style, my trading strategy is this. It seems like the risk reward fits this very well. And my psychology at the same time. You have to make it match your psychology, whatever that works for you, and then you have to make it match your style. The only way that you have to make it match your style is if you're doing something a little bit higher, like a 2 to 1 or a 1 to 1. If you're doing something like a 10 to 1, a 5 to 1, a 20 to 1, it doesn't have to match your style as much, because if no matter what strategy you do, this is going to get fucking hit. It doesn't matter. This is going to get hit no matter what strategy. So then it just all depends on your psychological. But if you're doing something a little bit bigger, like 2 to 1s, 1 to 1s, there's a lot of strategies out there, I'm sure, that would work way better with a negative risk reward. But then it depends on your psychology if it works better for you or not. If you find a risk reward that works really good with your psychology, or with your strategy, but not with your psychology, you have 2 options. You can either make your psychology get better over time and just accept what it is, or you can just go with the second or third best option because you like that psychologically more. It's up to you. But these are my findings. This is the data, and this is the data specifically for me and my strategy. So don't anybody get offended and come talk to me and say, oh, 1 to 3s work better than all that. I don't care. This is the data. This is what I got. This is what performed the best for me. And this is from my live trades. This isn't from just going back and back. This is the live trades that I have called out, that I've compared between 7 different risk rewards over 2 years of data. So let me know what you guys think. I'm not saying that I'm going with any specific risk reward right now. I'm just saying my thoughts and my feelings, which is exactly what I do on here, and it's what I've been doing for years. So that's it, man. OFX out.